Today's Philadelphia Eagles now is presented by Manscaped. Father's Day is coming up around the corner. Get your pop something nice with Manscaped so that he can be looking clean. Manscaped.com/chat, promo code chat for 20% off and free shipping. We'll tell you more about what they're offering for Father's Day coming up here in just a little while. As for what we're getting into on today's Philadelphia Eagles now, the Birds making some roster moves following rookie minicamp, adding a wide receiver, but also Pro Football Focus, ranking the Eagles roster number 1 in the NFL. So we're going to do a little bit of an Eagles roster breakdown and see where they think the Eagles have strengths. But first, make sure you subscribe, because let me ask you this question. Do you want Eagles talk every day? Do you want year-round coverage of the Philadelphia Eagles? News, rumors, analysis, and breaking news around the Birds. Live shows and watch parties. Well, if that's the case, lock us in, hit that subscribe button down below, and join the 45,000 people that are subscribed to us here on Eagles. Now, I promise you, we won't disappoint you with our coverage. EAGLES. So the Eagles adding to their wide receiver core here with a pretty interesting name, and we're going to back up why he is an interesting addition to this Eagles roster. Wide receiver Charleston Rambo signing with the Birds after an impressive showing in his tryout during Eagles rookie minicamp, and the name, it's one of the best names that you'll find. Charleston Rambo, are you kidding me? And the player, probably unlikely to make this Eagles roster, but he does offer some intriguing qualities and has a history alongside Jalen Hurts. He's 23 years old, undrafted in 2022. He played at Oklahoma, finished his career at Miami. A lot of people remember him because he played alongside Jalen Hurts back in 2019. Was undrafted, but then latched on with the Carolina Panthers, but then was released in August of 2022. In November of 2022, drafted by the Orlando Guardians of the XFL, and after a good showing at Eagles rookie minicamp tryouts, he's signing with Philadelphia. Now, in 2019, and especially as a freshman with the Oklahoma Sooners, he played pretty well. And I'm showing you the 2019 numbers because this is when Jalen Hurts was the quarterback, when he was a finalist to win the Heisman Trophy was Hurts, 43 catches, 743 yards, 5 touchdowns. And early in his career, you're thinking, this guy probably has an NFL future. But in 2020, didn't do much with Oklahoma, so he transfers to Miami. And in his last season with the Hurricanes, he really produced with Tyler Van Dyke as the quarterback there. 79 receptions, more than 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns. And then while playing in the XFL this past season, he was 10th in the league in receiving yards, 31 catches, 403 yards, and 3 touchdowns. A reason why he went undrafted, and probably a reason why he hasn't been able to stay on a roster, bad testing numbers leading up to the NFL draft. He's not only small at 177 pounds, but you'd think that speed is one of his go-to attributes. He ran a 4.57 40-yard dash. Not good enough to convince teams that he is worthy of making an NFL roster. Now, if you're excited for the return, of Eagles football, I want you to give me a Go Birds down below in the comment section. All my Philly Bulls get together. Give me a Go Birds down below, because we're starting to get closer and closer to training camp here. The players are at the NovaCare complex for OTAs. That only means that real football is coming up not far in the distance. Go Birds. Now, before we get into more on Charleston Rambo, let's tell you about Manscaped here. Father's Day is coming up right around the corner, and I can guarantee a lot of you have not gotten your dads anything yet for Father's Day. Well, that's where Manscaped is really saving the day here. Friends, family, loved ones, I bet you haven't purchased a Father's Day gift, have you? Not to fear, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming are here. I'm talking about our friends at Manscaped. They're saving the day yet again with the total package for the father figure in your life this year. It's time to upgrade his game from the waist to the face with this exclusive offer and have him join the 8 million men who have trusted Manscaped. Let's talk about the Performance Package 4.0, the ultimate Father's Day gift here. Inside this package, you'll include the Lawnmower 4.0, the trimmer, the brand new Weed Whacker, 2.0 ear and nose hair trimmer, crop preserver, ball deodorant, crop reviver toner, the performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag as well. So regardless of where your dad is going, if he's out on the road for business, he's traveling with your mom to go on vacation, you get that travel bag as well. The performance package, $103.99 with the promo code chat. 20% off and free shipping. I'm telling you, your dad will really like these products. He can use the Lawnmower 4.0 below the belt, but also on his face as well. The performance package from Manscaped. Get your dad something good for Father's Day. Let's continue to move forward here with Charleston Rambo, because interesting addition to this Eagles roster, and he's going to have an opportunity to at least compete in training camp, you would imagine, and I'm interested to see how Charleston Rambo can link up with Jalen Hurts. Now, coming up at the end of today's show, Pro Football Focus saying that the Eagles have the #1 roster in the National Football League. We're going to do a complete roster breakdown. Take a look at the depth charts at every position group, and then also take a look at some of the strengths that Pro Football Focus said that the Philadelphia Eagles have on that roster. With Rambo, he's going to have to bulk up his frame a little bit. He's going to have to display a little bit more speed. He's just going to have to be a little bit more consistent out there. But maybe he has new life to his NFL career. Maybe he's able to really battle for a roster spot realistically here with the familiarity with Jalen Hurts, the good showing at rookie minicamp tryouts, that good college season at Miami, I think is a big reason why the Philadelphia Eagles elected to bring him in the first place, in addition to what he did at Oklahoma. And then at the XFL level, had to flash a little bit as well. As for what Pro Football Focus had to say about this Eagles roster, there are no questions, right, that the Eagles are loaded going into 2023. And let's take a look at this Eagles team position group by position group here. So at the quarterback spot, Jalen Hurts, best quarterback in the NFC, in my opinion. Top 5 quarterback in the league, given how he played in the Super Bowl and the fact that he was runner-up to Patrick Mahomes in MVP voting. Marcus Mariota, Ian Book, Tanner McKee, the backups to QB1. I love what Howie Roseman has done with the Eagles running back room. A lot of people, including myself, wanted the Eagles to take Bijan Robinson at number 10 if he fell. He didn't fall to number 10. He went number 8 to the Atlanta Falcons. So what did Howie do? He traded up one spot for Jalen Carter and made a trade for DeAndre Swift. If I would have told you going into the draft, you can have either just Bijan Robinson or Jalen Carter and DeAndre Swift, I'm going with the latter. Kenny Gainwell, good back. Rashaad Penny has to stay healthy, has a ton of talent. Boston Scott, the giant killer. They're going to go running back by committee, but a lot of these running backs are capable because we've seen it before with all of these cats. To the wide receiver depth chart here. A.J. Brown broke the record for the most receiving yards in a single season in franchise history. I can't wait to see what he does in year 2 in this Eagles offense. DeVonta Smith broke the record for the most receptions in a single season. Olamide Zaccheaus, this guy is a really good wide receiver 3 who fell under the radar a little bit because he was on such a bad Atlanta Falcons team, but outside of Drake London, he was probably their number 2. Now he's going to be either wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4. I'm going to slot him in at wide receiver 3. That's my preference here. And then Quez Watkins, the vertical threat at wide receiver 4. Britton Covey, maybe an opportunity to make this roster as well. Eagles tight ends. This room has become pretty interesting after Dallas Goedert, after the acquisition and signing of Darren Arnold recently. Goedert, one of the best all-around tight ends in the NFL. After that, though, who's going to be tight end 2? Jack Stoll, Grant Calcaterra, or Darren Arnold? They all bring a little bit something different to the table. That is going to be a good training camp battle. To the Eagles' offensive line, you lose Isaac Seumalo, but you replace him with either Cam Jurgens or Tyler Steen, who you drafted out of Alabama. Steen, by the way, can play tackle or he can play right guard. I think Jurgens has the pull ability, athletic ability to get out in space and be a good blocker downfield. And then once Jason Kelce retires, Jurgens will fill in there at that center spot. But Mailata, Landon, Dickerson, Jason Kelce, Cam Jurgens, Lane Johnson, even though you lose Isaac Seumalo, still one of the better offensive lines in the game of football. To the deepest defensive line in all of football. The starting front, Josh Sweat, Fletcher Cox, Jordan Davis, Brandon Graham, and then Haason Reddick as the Sam linebacker. It's as good as it gets. Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, 11 sacks last year. Haason Reddick was 16. Fletcher Cox had 7. And if Jordan Davis can take that next leap, look out. And then some of the backups, Derek Barnett, Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter. Don't sleep on Contavious Street. Milton Williams, I thought, popped at the end of last year. And Marlon Tupuolutu. I always butcher that name, but he's a good player as well. And then to the Eagles linebacking room. This is probably the biggest question mark on this Eagles roster outside of safety. I think linebacker safety. 2 question marks for this Eagles organization. But Nicholas Morrow, classic Howie Roseman signing on that 1-year cheap deal. Nakobe Dean, like his college teammate, Jordan Davis, member of the same 2022 draft class, going to have to take that leap forward. The depth, a little bit of a concern. That's why places like ESPN linked Myles Jack to the Birds, which we talked about yesterday. Eagles secondary at safety. Terrell Edmunds right now, as well as Reed Blankenship. After that, you have Justin Evans and Kevon Wallace to back those guys up. But you're starting 5 here, so to speak. Darius Slay, I understand he's a little bit older. Played good football last year, though. James Bradbury, he was finally asked about that Valentine's Day card from Juju Smith-Schuster here on this Wednesday. This is a good group here. And you do have some depth as well with guys like Greedy Williams. And then you also drafted, Sidney Brown out of Illinois in the 3rd round to back up at that safety spot. So Slay, Maddox, Edmunds, Blankenship, Bradbury, there are teams with a lot worse secondary groups. Eagles special teams, lastly. Jake Elliott, still a really good kicker. You'd probably slot him in top 5, top 10 in the NFL as far as clutch kicks go. Also has leg strength. Aaron Siposs right now is the punter, but Tyler Zentner out of Kansas State is giving him a run for his money, and then Rick Lovato as the long snapper. Per Pro Football Focus, this is what they had to say about the Eagles here in naming them the most talented roster in the league. They said their biggest strength, it's the trench play. Easy to see why. Offensive line, defensive line. That's how Howie Roseman likes to build his football team. Biggest weakness, it's kind of coverage in between the numbers there. Safeties, linebackers. X factor for this team, going to be Reed Blankenship. Thought he played well last year. I think he could make a sizable jump. And then the rookie to watch, of course, is Jalen Carter. And the over-under for wins, 10.5. Pro Football Focus going with the over. I happen to agree. I think the Eagles are somewhere in that 11-12 win range. So what do you think? Over under 10.5 wins for the Birds. O for over, U for under. Fun show today. Hope you all enjoyed it. And if that's the case, make sure you subscribe.